today's project is going to be this Pflueger Rocket, model number 1355. And this reel seems to be in pretty functional shape. For those of you who don't know what a knuckle buster is, this is a knuckle buster. Meaning there is no spool release on this. You can never release the spool from the handle. Okay, the closest you can get to that is loosening the drag all the way, and that's not much of a, you certainly couldn't cast it that way. All right, but this one is functional, and we're going to take it apart, service it. And this is a viewer request. One of my viewers, Warped Weirdo, has requested that we do this, and so that's what we're going to do. Let me back out just a little bit so I can stay in frame on this and see what we can do with this. Okay, we're going to start off by removing this nut on the end. Okay, then we're going to remove the star drag, or try to. It kind of locked up solid on me all of a sudden. Let's see if I've got some messed up threads here. Let's get in close, see if we can see anything. Well, I don't see any threads messed up. So let's see. And oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I think we got a two-piece assembly here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try taking this screw out first. See if that releases half this. I don't think it does, but we're going to try it. Better safe than sorry. Okay, now, see, it backs out to right there, and then it just jams. And I think we're just going to have to institute a little force. I think it's just that the threads have been boogered up. Okay. We got that off. Yeah, I believe the threads are boogered up just slightly right there, and that's what caused this to hang up on there. And I'll have to try to clean that up just a little bit before I put it back. I'll use my magnifying glass to blow it up and really look at it. I'm trying to see. I don't see anything else there that could cause grief. Okay. And I appear to be kind of losing my voice. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off. This is a Pflueger proprietary item. And that is the removable worm gear assembly. And they made this so that you could take the worm gear apart off of the reel without having to disassemble the rest of the reel. Okay. We're going to take out this screw. There should be 4 of them, if it's the way most conventional Pfluegers are that use this setup. Okay, there's 2. Come over to this side, and we got 2 more on the other side. All right. We'll take the worm gear out, and we'll be able to service that separately. Okay, with that out, I can go ahead now and remove the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that hold this side plate on. Okay, so the two in the large hole, it's pretty obvious. They go into the real seat. They're much bigger than the two that go up here. Okay, take that out. Go. Give it a good look. This is a tensioner here. That's going to rub on the side of the spool right there. You can adjust your tension on it. And this lever is your anti-reverse override, and you got a large spring on this side. It holds tension on it, the lever itself, and as you move it over, see how it activates that and deactivates the anti-reverse pawl here, and then the spring over here is going to pull that pawl back into place. All right, so that's pretty much what you got. Okay, we're going to set that over to the side. And now the inner side plate comes out. And what do we got here? We have a locking washer. Okay. And we have, it's going to be your anti-reverse cog. Okay. Under that, we have a drag washer, both metal and phenolic. Okay, under that we have the main gear, and I've taken this off. Remember, I took that screw out originally, that held that onto that post. Take the main gear out, and the cupped side of that is going to go down towards the bottom. And now we've got a washer over here, drag washer. And we got some old grease, but we got a pretty simple setup here. All right, now we're going to take out the spool, and ooh, does it feel old greasy. That did not want to slide out. It was all kind of gummed up. So we'll clean that up good. Put it back in. There's our clicker. And this, yeah. All right, if you look at this base plate, it's eat up pretty bad with some corrosion. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into my little wire basket, and I'm going to set that, once I take these two screws out, I'm going to set that down into a jar of vinegar, and that should remove that corrosion off of there. But what we're probably going to see is that the chrome plating is missing once we've done that. Okay, yeah, when it's corroded that bad, the odds of you having all your chrome plating is pretty slim. And it says Rocket on the bottom. So we're going to take this, I'm going to put it into my basket, and the next time you see that, hopefully it will be cleaner. I figured I'd let you see this down in the vinegar. I don't know how well you can see the bubbles, but it's bubbling quite a bit down in there. The lighting is horrible. But when I take that out in about 30 minutes, I'm hoping that most of that corrosion is gone. I'd like to be able to tell you that on this reel, I was able to just spray down with WD-40 and just wipe it off, but that's not the case. Some of this grease on here is crystallized, and it's taken some effort to get it off. And even though it's soaked a bit, it still took some effort. So just wanted you guys to know. Okay, I lied to you a little bit. I said it was going to take 30 minutes, but it only took 20 minutes for this piece to come back out of the vinegar. And like I said, the chrome plating is gone. It, got down to the copper. That's what you're going to find. A lot of people think that the vinegar ate the chrome down to the copper. That's not the case. This is what happens when the corrosion eats the chrome away. And once you remove the corrosion, then you see that it has eaten away the chrome and left just the copper. All right, but that's as good as it's going to get. So I think we're ready to start reassembling. Okay, we'll start off with this side plate. Okay, on the side plate we're going to put our drag sleeve, and I did work on this a little bit. If you look right here, let's blow this up. What had happened is somebody had over tightened the handle onto here, and that had forced the handle down to the point that it actually crushed this top thread right here down to where it was narrowing the gap right here. I took a file and filed the gap back open, and it's still a little bit snug. I could possibly take a little more off, but I decided not to. I decided to just leave it at that point. It's a little bit snug, but nothing like it was. There it goes. Okay, so that being the case, we'll continue on, and I'll blow this back out so you can see what's going on. And we're going to reinstall this on here, and to do so, I'm going to put just a dab of grease on this shaft, and I'm going to put a dot of oil inside the sleeve. Put the two together like so. And now remember that screw I took out earlier because I was afraid that it was causing grief. It did not. We can go ahead and put that screw back in right now, because that's what holds this sleeve on. There we go. Now that should spin freely, and it does. All right, next to go on is going to go this drag washer, and I'm going to take this drag washer, and you do not have to use Cal's universal drag grease. You can use regular fishing reel grease to lubricate drag washers. However, since I have the Cal's, I will go ahead and use it. And then we're just going to put it on just a little bit. Put that on. Then on goes the gear with the cupped side down, like that. Next to go on is going to be this anti-reverse cog. It goes on with the teeth kind of facing to the counterclockwise direction. Let's see if I can figure out where I'm putting it on wrong. There we go. Had it on 180 or 90 degrees off. Okay. With that in place, we can go ahead and put on, oh, sorry, we're missing a piece. Then goes the drag washer. Okay. Then goes this, and then goes that. There we go. That sets it up correctly. And on top of that is going to go this sleeve. Okay. And the piece that goes on top of that is going to be this locking washer. And that has that all built up. And at that point, we could pretty much put that back together. So let's go ahead to the side plate and take a look. Now, when I took this off, all this looked really like it had a lot of grease and stuff in it, but it didn't. The grease that was there had crystallized long ago. It looked like it was good grease, but it wasn't. Okay? So be careful about that. Sometimes you'll think you got good grease in something and you really don't. Okay, we're going to put some grease along here where this cam rides. We're going to put some over here where this rides. And we are going to keep grease off of this drag mechanism here. Okay, now this should slide back easily back and forth here. And make sure that you don't just grease the plate behind it, but where these two are going to run into each other. Otherwise, they'll wear each other out. Okay, that's good. And we can flip that over at that point and slide it right back over top like that. And everything should fit down snug and smooth. Oh, we're missing something. Let's take it back off for a second. What are we missing here? We are missing some grease on the main gear. Let's go ahead and grease that up good. And it doesn't take a lot. As this rotates around and interacts with the pinion gear is going to help distribute the grease along the main gear. Even so, I still usually like to try to go ahead and get it all on there. Try to get every tooth if I can. Now let's put this back. Put that locking washer back on. Slip this on. There we go. And once you get it in position, it should all just drop down, which so far it's not doing that. There we go. It was catching on the anti-reverse claw. All right. Set that over to the side. We've got this part now, and it has been cleaned. Make sure that the clicker moves in and out, and it does, and locks in place. We're going to add a little bit of grease to that. Now the grease that was there again, it looked like it was good grease, but it was so old that it was hard as a brick, and it took me a while to get it cleaned out of there. Okay, we're going to put grease there. On this other side though, I'm going to put just a dot of oil. There we go. And we're going to put a couple of drops of oil inside the bushing. And now we can set the spool into there. Make sure we get the line down. If you've got line on it, I'm going to be stripping all this off, but for now it'll do. All right, we're going to set that down. Well, I'll tell you what, before we drop that in, let's pull it back out a second, and let's go ahead and secure this foot into place. It's these two little short screws. Set one in place and try to line him up. Get it started. See if we can get the other one to line up. Don't tighten it all the way down yet. Okay, get that one in. Now we'll set the spool back in. Let's go ahead and put a drop of oil on the spool shaft itself too. Make sure none of the lines are trapped, and they are not. At this point, we can go ahead and set this back into place, and you might need to rotate it. There we go, to get it if you moved it like I did and have it pop loose. Okay, we've got a post here. We have a post here, a post here. Those are going to go in these two big holes. The two big screws go over here. They're going to go line up for the spool. And let's go ahead and put a little bit of grease on the pinion itself, even though there's probably enough on the main gear to take care of that. And we'll put a few drops of oil inside the bushing here. And my lock washer fell out. That's okay, because we can just slide it right back in. Okay, slip this over, line this up. Okay, get the post all lined up. Now if we want, we can set our lock washer back on. Let's take these two screws and line them back up for the foot. That's the two big ones. All right, that's got all that together. Now we got to worry about doing this worm gear. Now you can choose to either take it apart or leave it together to service it. for most people, I would recommend leaving it together because it's really easy to service. All you've got to do is take WD-40, spray it along the threads, and then scrub it with a brush. Okay, rotate it around some so that you can get to the other side and scrub it some more. And now what you're going to want to do once you've done that is you want to try to rinse it out. Look how nice and clean that is. Rinse it again. And that's pretty nice. And it's very clean and very workable. Okay, now I know that there's going to be some of you who want to take this all the way apart. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to take out this locking plate screw for the pawl. Set that over there, take out the locking plate. And now we're going to get hold of the pawl and lift it out. Now that pawl, even though we just cleaned the rest of that, that pawl still kind of needs to come out sometime and get cleaned. This one's pretty worn. There's a lot of wear on that pawl. I'm going to see if somewhere in this box of old pawls, if there's one that might fit this. Okay, first off, it's a really short pawl. All right, I do not have a replacement pawl, so I'm going to have to use this one. We'll clean it up as best we can first. All right, so we got the pawl out, pawl lock, okay. Now, usually this end cap on these will pop off. And yes, it does. Okay. I've had a few of these Pfluegers apart. Okay. Wipe it off. It looks good. It's rather interesting. Everywhere I've been inside this reel, it has a B stamped on it. There's another one there. Okay. Now we should be able to slide this out. There's our gear. And it is in good shape. The cup side of it is going to the outside. Okay, let's slide this out. And now it becomes even easier to clean this. Now, if you've really cleaned it, done a really good deep clean, see the bottom of these holes? See, every now and then you'll see a little bit of silver. Well, if you've really gotten it good and clean, all of that will be silver. So let's see if I can get this that clean. What do you think? All right. And the only part that leaves left to clean is going to be this carrier, the pawl carrier. I'll clean that out a little bit. and the worm gear slide assembly. All right, we're going to add a couple of drops of oil into this bushing on the end. We're going to set the carrier back in. We're going to slide the worm gear back in, like so. And the worm gear assembly is now reassembled. Did I put it in backwards? I still put it in backwards. All right, that means I got to take this back out. Pop this end back off. Pull this out. Oh, pull our pawl out. Pull this back out. Set this in place so we know that we're putting it the right way. See, I'm going to set it up over here. This is going to go on like this. Therefore, this will have to go on like this to come up and go into there. All right, so we'll hold that in place and slide all this back together. Here we go. Snap the end plate back on. Drop the pawl back in. Rotate it a little bit, make sure the pawl drops into its slot. And it has. Set the locking plate back in place. And put the screw back in. All right. We'll oil this, but we're going to do it afterwards. We are going to go ahead and grease this because now that it's in there, you cannot get back to it unless you do it now. Okay, rotate that around. There we go. Set this back in place. Let's make sure none of this is trapped. Okay, it's not. We need to get that to go into that slot, and then we need to get all these holes to line up. Like so. Okay. All right, I believe I've got those all lined up. If you're going to pry in there, do it very gently. You don't want to mess up the threads. Okay. Now we are back to this sleeve again that fell out. Slide that in, put in the locking washer. Let's back this out just a little bit. We are now going to attempt to put the star washer back on, the drag washer, drag star. And tighten up right there. Just a little bit. I can hold it with my fingers. Although I did have to hold it a little snug. Okay. Now we can slip the handle on. And tighten down the handle nut. Now we don't want to get carried away like the last person did, because we don't want to bend down those threads. So nice and snug is all that it needs. Okay. Okay, that feels good. Let's check the drag. Wow. Okay. All right. Not crazy about that lock washer on there. I'm not sure that that's original to this. It is brass or bronze coated, but I'm not sure it's original to this. I think there should be a tension washer in there, and but it's a fairly free turning reel. Let's see. Okay, now we have our adjustment for its back pedal here. We can loosen that up. If we look here, we could stand to tighten that just a hair. Okay, that part's good. Let's loosen this. Okay, that's all the way out right there. I sure wouldn't want to cast this thing. Be a good trolling reel, though. You've got an oil port over here. Also, we've got the clicker. There we go. There you have the Pflueger Rocket, number 1355, warped. You asked for it. Here it is. You got it. And that's a nice reel. I'm going to strip the line off of it and put it over in my cabinet. And hopefully one day I'll get a great desire to go and fish the thing. But for now, I got enough going on. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Tell me what it is you didn't like about the video. For now, that's Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels, signing out.